Trump's most dangerous frenemy may have just moved something nuclear into Iran, raising urgent questions about Moscow's intentions and the message this dramatic development is meant to send to Washington. Is nuclear Russia once again returning to Iran, reviving a strategically sensitive partnership that could reshape the regional balance and complicate Trump's calculations across the Middle East? As Trump faces a new and potentially dangerous threat, Putin appears to be sending nuclear specialists back into the picture, signaling that Russia may be preparing for a much larger strategic confrontation. The hidden message behind Russia's latest nuclear move may be a carefully calculated warning to Trump. Moscow still has powerful options, and it is prepared to use its influence where Washington least wants it. Russia has just made a shocking move in Iran, and amid the latest U-turn, President Trump may not have expected Moscow to re-enter such a strategically sensitive location at this moment. Rosatom has begun returning Russian specialists to Iran's Bushehr nuclear power plant, according to reports carried by Russian state media, including TASS, signaling a cautious but important restart of operations at the site. The first 5 Russian engineering specialists have already reached the Bushehr facility, where they have reportedly arrived at the residential settlement and begun carrying out their assigned duties. With this initial deployment, the total number of Russian specialists currently present at Bushehr has risen to 25, marking the first stage of a broader return by Rosatom personnel. Rosatom says it plans to send several dozen additional employees to Bushehr within the next 2 weeks, provided the security situation does not deteriorate and fighting between the United States and Iran does not escalate again. The next stage of Russia's deployment will therefore depend heavily on the conflict's trajectory, because any renewed escalation could once again place Rosatom personnel at serious risk. If conditions remain stable, Rosatom aims to expand its workforce at the Bushehr project to approximately 100 Russian specialists by the autumn, significantly increasing its presence at the Iranian site. The Russian Nuclear Corporation also plans to bring back all of the specialists who were previously evacuated from Iran, although the process is expected to happen gradually rather than in a single deployment. However, a complete return to pre-war staffing levels will reportedly take place only after the United States and Iran reach a final agreement capable of ending the hostilities and providing stronger security guarantees. Despite the disruption caused by the conflict, construction of the main and auxiliary buildings for Bushehr's 2nd and 3rd reactor units is continuing, keeping Russia's long-term nuclear partnership with Iran alive. Preparatory work is also continuing on hydraulic engineering facilities at the site, suggesting that important supporting infrastructure remains part of the ongoing expansion plans for the Bushehr complex. This development comes after US military strikes reportedly hit areas near the Bushehr nuclear facility, raising concerns about the safety of workers and the potential risks to sensitive nuclear infrastructure. However, available reports indicate that the main reactor structures at the Bushehr plant were not directly hit, and Iranian officials have said that the operating reactor itself remained unaffected. Trump says Washington is low-keying it with Iran, signaling no immediate new US offensive as the administration waits to see whether pressure and diplomacy deliver a breakthrough. The US president says his administration is only semi-negotiating with Tehran, according to Axios, reflecting the absence of a full direct diplomatic process. Trump says the US is just watching Iran as economic pressure continues to bear down on Tehran. Trump says the US naval blockade has deepened economic pressure on Iran, precisely the policy Tehran wants removed before it agrees to fully reopen Hormuz. Trump also argues that oil prices above $75 a barrel have limited the war's impact on US consumers, even as Hormuz tensions continue to unsettle global energy markets. Donald Trump said, and I quote, "We are low-keying it. We are only semi-negotiating with them. We are just watching Iran with its huge inflation and the fact they have no money. It will work out. It always works out. It's like a chess game." Unquote. Trump's remarks suggest Iran's resistance has kept Washington from immediate military escalation, even as US pressure and threats remain in place. Meanwhile, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian says Tehran backs talks with the US from a position of power and unity, arguing that negotiations must secure Iran's legitimate rights, not require surrender.
I believe the present moment is the most opportune time for an agreement between Iran and the US, where there's cohesion, power, and unity, and as far as I know, and perhaps you know even more. We can compel the entire world to perceive Iran as a true victor of this war and conflict. Armed with this authority, we can secure our legitimate rights through these dialogues. Ultimately, they must acknowledge and grant us what is rightfully ours. Naturally, we seek nothing beyond the rights and due entitlements of our country and our people. We remain determined, God willing, to proceed with that same Islamabad Memorandum of Understanding, provided that the U.S. stops fostering an atmosphere of mistrust and instead cultivates a climate of genuine confidence, because America is indeed profoundly unreliable. Nevertheless, if we can make any meaningful headway toward resolving the outstanding issues, we are sparing no effort to do so.
Iran's Supreme National Security Council has revealed drastic new conditions for reopening the Strait of Hormuz amid the ongoing standoff with Washington. Iran said the Strait of Hormuz would remain closed until the US corrected its behavior, according to Iranian state broadcaster Press TV. Council Secretary Mohammad Bagher Zolgoda announced the conditions, with Iranian state media detailing Tehran's demands for reopening the strategic waterway. Iran's latest position turned reopening the Strait of Hormuz into a broader demand for major concessions from the United States. Iran has demanded an end to all US threats and what it calls insults to Iran's national and religious values. Tehran wants attacks on Iran and its allies in Lebanon, Palestine, Yemen, and Iraq to be permanently halted. Iran has called for the US naval blockade to be lifted and US naval and air forces withdrawn from around Iran. Tehran is demanding compensation for damage caused by what it describes as two imposed wars. Iran has also demanded the removal of all US sanctions imposed against the country. Tehran is seeking the unconditional release of all Iranian assets currently frozen abroad. However, journalist Barak Ravid said the conditions were demands that the United States clearly cannot accept. Barak Ravid warned that Iran's demands could leave President Trump with fewer diplomatic options and push Washington back toward a military response.
Upgrade your news experience with the all-new HD app. Download now.